Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bowles Central. We're checking out a game today called Tales of Kenzera Zao, which is a Afro-futurist flavored Metroidvania style platformer, action platformer. There's a lot of such games, especially these days, because this genre has gotten really popular, and it kind of has always been popular ever since the old days of, like, you know, Metroid and Castlevania. It's like platforming and action, so the platforming has to be really tight, kind of difficult, kind of challenging, but ultimately it should leave you feeling like a badass whenever you pull it off. And similarly, the action must be kind of challenging, a little difficult, leaving you feeling like a badass when you finally pull it off. And as a basic Metroidvania-style platform actioner, Tales of Kenzera is not unsuccessful. But look, this is going to be a bit of a shorter review than I normally do. I usually like to shoot for like 9.5 minutes, and I don't really have that much to say about this one because it doesn't really do anything that new with it, and I'm kind of finding that this genre is sort of drying up a little bit unless it's in the indie space. But look, I just played a couple months ago the new Prince of Persia game, and you know, my favorite flavor of Prince of Persia is 3D anyway, Sands of Time type stuff, and so that game was good, but it also lacked a little bit of imagination. And Tales of Kenzera is kind of in a similar boat. I don't know why that is. I don't know why the indie space really has this genre nailed down and is keeping it fresh and inventive in ways. Because this is an EA game, you know, like the Prince of Persia was a Ubi. And really it comes down to this. In this game, we'll stop talking about Prince of Persia. In this game, the enemies are kind of dumb, kind of slow, kind of not that challenging. The only way that it gets challenging is if they throw enough at you. Even the bosses are kind of dumb, kind of slow, not that challenging. That's kind of my read on it after having spent, you know, 6 hours with it or so, 5 hours with it or so. I gotta tell you, it's a little bit disappointing. There's plenty of Twitch gameplay, and there's plenty of really good platforming and stuff, and the action is okay. But there's also like lots of wide open spaces where you're just kind of running for a good minute or so without even encountering anything, just kind of jumping along and doing your thing, whatever that is. And it all kind of revolves around this dual identity mask system, which you have Moonlight Mask and Sunlight Mask, and each has its own set of powers. For instance, the Sunlight Mask allows you to melee, and it's got a special light javelin that you can throw, whereas the Moon powers shoot kind of ice type, watery type ice crystal things, and you can freeze stuff, and you know, that's kind of the extent in it. And so basically what the game wants you to do is on the fly have to switch back and forth, and kind of adds another wrinkle to the standard action scheme that you would find, or puzzling scheme that you would find in a game like this. The thing is that you're never really demanded to do that as much as you really should be. And you're never really demanded to do it in super inventive ways, I find. Even that's a little bit disappointing. So, yeah. I mean, you know, the level design is standard. The map size is standard for this sort of thing. Limited hand-holding, that's standard. But, you know, like the upgrading system, you know, because everything does have a leveling system these days. You know, on some level, everything's an RPG. There's really only like 4 or 5 tiers per mask, so it's not meant to be that expansive. It's not meant to tweak the gameplay that much. And there's kind of like these token icon things that you're supposed to be able to unlock and further modify the way that you play, giving you different bonuses and stuff. And along the way, you're going to find a lot of pit stops that allow you to equip these things, but they're not that dynamic. There's not that many of them. You can't have that many of them at once. So there's way more pit stops for these than there are needs to have a pit stop for these things. There's not really tons of new items, although there's a few. Like, there's just not really enough to keep this thing going and to keep it interesting and to keep it flourishing as a really excellent Metroidvania game. You know, like, My favorite games in this genre, Hollow Knight is a great game. I really love Guacamelee and Guacamelee 2. Those are like my wife and our favorite, especially since Guac 2 was like co-op.
Are you okay?
Those games had so much invention, so much style, so much personality, so much difficulty, so much challenge. You really had to be a really Twitch game player to get through those games, and it was so worth it getting through those games, all three of those games that I just mentioned. So, I mean, as far as all of this goes, Tales of Kenzera, Zao is average. Sorry, EA, you did it to me again. You sent me another average video game, but fear not, I'm sure that you're trying to build a franchise off of this. You know, they showed this game around E3 time, because E3 doesn't exist anymore, but around E3 time last year. I think that's what it was, or it was in an Xbox Direct or something. I don't even really remember now. It looks great. There's tons of wonderful particle effects. There's tons of great atmosphere, and the character modeling's a little basic. I'm not super thrilled with that, but it does look good. It plays well enough, but you're not going to be surprised by anything with this game. You're not going to be stunned. You're not going to be happily, oh wow, I didn't think that would happen, or oh wow, this is not something I normally do in Metroidvania style games. So I don't really have much else to say. Like I said, I'm trying to keep it short because it's just kind of an underwhelming experience. It's a short experience. Meh. That's all I gotta say. Meh. So, yeah. I'm gonna give Tales of Kenzera Zao. Gosh. I want to give it a 6 out of 10, but that's kind of low. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. And I'm going to say that if you got nothing else to play, by the way, it's actually, well, it was. No, it still is. It's in PS Plus. I played it on PlayStation 5. It's in PS Plus, so it's free if you subscribe to PS Plus. You can play it on that basis. It's fine. It's worth a couple days play. Beyond that, I doubt you'll even remember it. Okay? Okay, good. That's it for me on this video. Please like and subscribe and share and comment. And man, I sure do appreciate you stopping by and watching this video. Until next time, everybody. Bye-bye.
School when I was 9, told me she had feelings, she had lies.